It's it's good. I liked it, but I think generally it's more of an average film. It sort of balances itself out. There are some bits that are really good, but at the same time, there are some bits in it that are really bad. And the sort of the good and the bad together make it a confusingly average movie. I think the main really good thing that it has going for it is Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. They were very funny. And I mean, of course, this wouldn't be a surprise to anyone. I don't know many deaf or blind people personally, but I feel like they each did a really convincing job portraying it. And there are some bits where the script is definitely average or not the best, and they make it seem good. I want to say, well, the sort of the first thing, and I sort of hate to bring this up as the first thing in so many reviews, but in this film, it really seemed like the oddest part of it was the plot. My issue with it is that each scene was written like there could only be one thing that was happening in the scene. So, first scene is we meet Gene, then it's we meet Richard, and then it's we see them together, and then the crime part of the plot starts very suddenly. It's written in a way that you're really aware of it. Watching each scene makes you think, oh, okay, this is obviously the scene where they need to sort this out, and this is the scene where they need to sort of this out, and it doesn't blend together well. It kind of reminds you that you're watching a movie a lot, and it sort of makes it more difficult to get invested and sort of really follow through with the film. Because what each idea is supposed to be and what's supposed to happen in each scene is very specific. And it's like when the first crime thing happens in the film, it feels really jolting and odd because there's nothing has happened that would even remotely suggest that that was the path that the film's going to take. You could, because like even though it is supposed to be a crime movie and there are like people die, right? Like there are death scenes and so on, it never really feels like one. And I don't know, it's hard to tell if that was meant to be intentional or not. It doesn't clearly feel like, oh, okay, there are some crime elements, but I'm still having fun and that's not the point. And it doesn't necessarily also feel like, oh shoot, there's a real crime story happening that I actually care about and I'm actually deeply following. This could be the benefit or disadvantage to the film, but it was really not subtle. I don't think subtlety was necessarily for what the feel of the film was and how it was told. I don't really feel that subtlety was necessary, but there would be scenes where they would imply something, right? And then you would, like, if you were paying attention, you would get it right away. And then they would show the thing again, and then they'd show it again, and then like after a certain amount of time of showing and suggesting the thing, they would just say, oh, this is that, and it relates to this because of this.
Oh, schmuck! I'm deaf! Now do you get it?
Which isn't really it's not really a problem because it's not like supposed to be that serious of a movie. Following in on all of like the slight nuances of emotions that the characters have doesn't really do anything for it, and it's not really the point, but it's frustrating if you're properly following along with it. One of the places where the weak writing sort of shows itself the most is with one of the antagonists, who is a lady named Eve. And the majority of what basically everything that's written in and is clear about this character is that she is a woman and she is very sexy and very dangerous. Throughout most of the film, she's all right. Like, there's nothing really strangely off about her. But there are 3 scenes where the main characters
Scratch my nose
Best of all, you don't need to read or write.
You're a very sick woman.
Mr. Carew, what would you like?
I suppose the fuck is out of the question.
And in the two other cases, they kind of assault her, and it's just very, very uncomfortable and not good. And I mean, I suppose the justification is that she's actively trying to kill them, so goofing around isn't the worst thing, but no, it felt very weird. And even if that was the angle that was trying to be pushed to make it make sense, it didn't. It felt weird. The premise of the film is essentially the premise of the film is more or less the entire film. Because what it is there's a blind guy and a deaf guy, and they become buddies, and let's see all of the wacky hijinks they get into. And for that, the film was really good. That's the good thing and the issue with the film. And ultimately, I really think it depends on preference, and I don't think I should necessarily give a strong yes or no to it, because the plot and everything that goes around it to make it last 90 minutes isn't really that good. But if you want to see two really funny guys, Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, and you set them up with a really funny circumstance, Gene is deaf, Richard is blind, and you want to see them do a bunch of gags and things about that,
I'm David Lyons.
then go for it. You'll probably love it.
What are we calling the time warp here or something? Twilight Zone, maybe? Any Martians here want to speak to Mr. David Lyons? You're a funny guy. I got a surprise for you. You can't do that. I know the law now. I get to shoot them. No, you can't. No, you can't. What do you mean I can't shoot them? What are you telling me, that I can't shoot them? But we went to all this trouble to catch him, and now you're telling me I can't shoot him? I want to shoot him. I want to shoot him.